Maybe someone should have handed the prophet Isaiah a copy of Merriam-Webster before he penned those passages about fasting. After all, the dictionary clearly states that to fast is to abstain from food or to eat sparingly from some foods. In fact, the Catholic Church has specific requirements on how to carry out that fast during the season we just entered, Lent. How much we can eat on certain days, what not to eat on others. There's nothing in any of that about releasing those bound unjustly or freeing the oppressed or sharing your bread with the hungry. It's just about not eating, right? Well, not according to the Lord. After all, Isaiah was merely the mouthpiece to cry out full-throated and unsparingly as to what fasting is really about, according to God. Because, for God, from the time of Isaiah to you and I right here today, everything is about the inbreaking of God's kingdom. Everything, even fasting. In that kingdom, the oppressed are set free from yokes they never should have had to carry, yokes of poverty and discrimination, of being used and abused by the more powerful for their own gain and glory. In the kingdom of God, the food pantries are shuttered, and St. Vincent de Paul trucks are parked for good because everyone has access to enough food to eat, to sufficient clothes to wear, to warm and safe homes in which to abide. Because in the kingdom of God, no one turns their back on a fellow human being in need, because everyone recognizes that we are all each other's own. But the thing is, none of that is going to be brought about by us skipping a few meals and giving up chocolate. Not that those personal disciplines don't have their place in focusing us beyond our own comfort and pleasure, but it takes a great deal more than that kind of fasting to bring about God's kingdom. And therein lies the problem. It is so much easier to focus on fasting as Merriam-Webster defines it, and so much harder the way the Lord does through the prophet Isaiah. Because frankly, there is so much oppression and hunger and homelessness in our world, so much discrimination and rejection and hatred and division, that it is almost impossible to know where to start. To even believe it is possible to bring God's kingdom to this world. Giving up alcohol or pizza is so much tidier. But the kingdom of God is messy. It is an upside-down world where the poor are preferred and the lowly are raised up. And in this mixed-up place, it is the oppressed who hold the entrance key for us all. It is the one we turn our face away from and say, I have to get dinner on the table, or I need to make sure I have enough money for retirement, or I worked hard to become financially comfortable. It is the one we turn up our noses at and say, we don't do it that way here, or there's only enough room for so many, or your way of life makes me feel uncomfortable. And we use that key they hold to enter the kingdom when we break their yokes and set them free, when we feed them and clothe them and shelter them and accept them and respect them and see in each one the face of God. And this fast called for by the prophet Isaiah is not a seasonal commitment. Lent is the perfect time to jumpstart that practice, but it does not begin there and it does not end there. It is a full-time venture, 24/7, 365. And even though that may seem so daunting, it can begin with the littlest thing, the smallest kindness, the briefest of genuine smiles, the few dollars we already have in our pockets or purse. From that alone, a glimmer of light will appear, shining on the tiniest part of the kingdom of God. Tiny, yes, but bright enough to light our way to more of fasting from our own needs, to more of fasting by tending to the needs of others. Brighter now, our example will shine for the world to see, and people will follow us, and before we know it, the words of the prophet will ring true. Our light shall break forth like the dawn, and the glory of the Lord shall be our rear guard. Because we can only enter the kingdom of God together. Private piety can help bring us the strength we need to do that, but it is in reaching out to each other in compassion and care that we ourselves will bask in the benefits of that kingdom. So let us fast from talking about others behind their backs. Let us not partake in ignoring that homeless person that we pass on the same street corner every day. Let us refuse to accept a life of dismissing hate crimes and blatant discrimination as someone else's problem. Let us starve ourselves from rejecting people who are different from us, never seeing ourselves as superior or worthier or holier. Because that is the fasting the Lord wants from us. That is the fasting that will be heard by God today and every day to come. May we never stop looking for a chance to fast for the kingdom of God.